Hey there, lady. I'm Molly Conley, your coach and hype woman on this journey to transforming your love life. Whether you're navigating life after divorce, exploring the world of online dating, or deepening the connection in your committed relationship, I'm here for you. Why me? Because I walked this path myself. From filing for divorce just 3 years into marriage, to swimming in the online dating pool into my late 30s, and finally marrying the man of my spreadsheet dreams right before the world changed forever. I've seen it all. As a relationship coach, I empower women to create love lives filled with clarity, connection, and confidence. This podcast is all about building a strong foundation for a healthy relationship with yourself and your future partner. I believe the man of your spreadsheet dreams is worth the wait, and together we'll ensure that you are ready for him when he arrives. Join me each week as we dive into insightful discussions and hear from savvy guests. You'll gain the courage to break free from limiting beliefs, recognize and change patterns that are holding you back, and learn to prioritize the number one relationship in your life, the one you have with yourself. So let's embark on this exciting journey together. Welcome to Reinventing the Arena. Hey, lady, welcome back to the podcast. Today is the last day of the short summer series. I've been noticing a pattern with my clients and even in my life, and thought today would be the perfect time to share something everyone struggles with. The struggle is our relationship to our comfort zone and implementing change. The brain, it doesn't like change. It wants smooth sailing, efficiency, consistency. You just name it. Think of something that you do every single day, which you could consider a habit. Maybe it's checking your phone immediately after your alarm wakes you up. If you do this every day, over time, your brain develops a habit formed through the sound of your alarm, pairing it with you checking your phone. So if you have the same sound for, a ringtone for a specific person or a notification, your brain will want you to check your phone based on that auditory cue it has been paired with. As you continue this habit, it will take less energy from the brain to execute the behavior of checking your phone when your alarm goes off. So let's say you want to change this behavior. You don't want to look at your phone when the alarm goes off in the morning. You will immediately feel resistance and experience difficulty as you try to change this habit, because your brain now has to use energy to not move forward with the previous easy and efficient way of living. The first time, you try to make this change, it's going to be really difficult. Yet, as you continue to create this new habit that you want with intention, it will become easier as you integrate it into your daily routine. But of course, you can slip back into a habit at any time, and it's easy to do when you're tired, feeling upset, or even just not in the right mindset, which is why I included intention. But what does this have to do with love, relationships, or even dating? Well, think about how many times after a breakup you checked your phone to see if your ex sent you a text. Or how many times have you drunk dialed him after saying numerous times to your friends that you were over him? Or maybe saying you're going to figure out why you attract certain men when you never take action. Or say you won't take it personally when your partner doesn't take out the trash when you ask him to. Or tell yourself you will stop giving your partner the silent treatment because you know that only causes disruption with connection and trust in a relationship, but you do it anyways. This is the struggle each and every one has with their comfort zone and implementing change in their love lives. Don't get me wrong, remaining in your comfort zone can provide a sense of safety and control, but it often comes with the cost of deeper connection and fulfillment. The decision to stay in or leave your comfort zone is complex, and it's deeply personal, right? It's influenced by a variety of factors that you might not be aware of at the moment. Understanding these factors can be the first step in deciding whether you remain in your comfort zone or take a leap of faith towards the love life that you want. So before I get into these factors, do yourself a favor, grab a pen, a piece of paper, your journal, or even just a place to take a note of which one of these come up for you as I go through them. And before we even get into those, I want you to think of your love life. What is an area in your love life that you feel is keeping you stuck? Write that down first. So what are some of those factors keeping you in your comfort zone, even when you really think you want something different? I'll go ahead and call out the one we usually don't see coming. It's fear. Actually, there's multiple kinds of fear keeping you stuck in your comfort zone and not stepping out for love. The first fear is the fear of rejection, which makes sense, right? The emotional risk of being rejected or hurt can be devastating to your sense of self. And rejection takes many forms when you're trying to date, no matter if it's online or in real life. Ghosting is a perfect example of how this behavior can be seen as rejection, and it's going to impact your confidence, self-worth, and even trust when you're trying to start the process all over again. In a relationship, it can be when your partner doesn't make you feel seen or heard when you're sharing something personal. Both of these examples lead you to avoid situations where you might be vulnerable because the pain of rejection outweighs the benefits of finding love or even just having connection with your partner. And don't forget, the negative experiences from past relationships can definitely create fear of repeating those painful situations, making the comfort zone a nice, comfy, and safe place to stay. The second fear is the fear of unknown. I'm a planner through and through, so the fear of the unknown was one of my top fears when trying to date, and it still can impact my relationship with my husband if I don't utilize what I know now. So no matter if you're single or in a committed relationship, the fear of unknown is always there. Even if you're like me, a full-blown planner with spreadsheets and a practically easy-breezy morning and night routine, you're still going to encounter the unknown. It's just part of life. Stepping outside of your comfort zone involves venturing into this unknown, which can be sometimes intimidating. New relationships or new dating scenarios can be unpredictable, which can cause anxiety. Most of the time when I see clients go through the fear of unknown, they try to tell stories of what's going on behind the scenes. So let's say you've been talking to someone for a few weeks, but their communication is not consistent. He texts you like crazy on the weekends and sometimes after work hours. What are the stories you start to tell yourself? Oh, he only wants to talk to me when it's convenient for him. He's looking for a weekend girlfriend, not anything serious. He doesn't seem to understand how communication works. Part of the reason this may be an issue is because you've lost a sense of control. You cannot control when he responds to you. This is part of the fear of the unknown, and trying to get him to respond to you is also a deeper issue. People often feel a sense of control in their comfort zone, so seeking love means letting go of some of that control, which can be unsettling, right? Okay, the third fear is the fear of losing independence. I'll say I struggled with this fear once I started dating more often and knew what I was wanting in a relationship. Yet, I also knew that I had to put an effort into finding a long-term committed relationship. Personally, I didn't see how I could remain myself in a committed relationship at the time. Like, this fear really held me back for years from exploring what it could really look like. When I knew I wanted to commit to someone at the time, I would push away those fears, but in a way that was not healthy. I was overly committed to the person and I was completely unbalanced with what I wanted in my love life and my life overall. Yet, this is normal for some people to deeply value their independence and fear that entering into a relationship might compromise their freedom and then completely flip over into this imbalanced situation. Usually this coincides with attachment styles, specifically moving between avoidant and anxious attachment styles, and that's more for another time. So now that we've talked about fear, let's talk about comfort. Yes, comfort keeps you stuck in your comfort zone. You battle between the status quo and the desire for more. Some people are genuinely happy with their current life and they don't feel a strong need or desire to seek a romantic relationship. Their comfort zone is fulfilling enough. And sometimes people have different priorities too. Maybe career, hobbies, friendships, or even personal development might be higher priorities for you. And that can leave little motivation and resources to seek out love. But when we're even talking about comfort, what about the comfort of routine? I was completely guilty of this right before I met Brad. I had my own way of moving through my everyday life, and adding a relationship is a big way to throw off routine. Deep down, that is what our brain wants. Routine offers a sense of safety and predictability. The disruption of routines that comes with dating or starting a new relationship can feel uncomfortable or even threatening. So now that you've heard these different fears and ways comfort can keep you from finding love, how do these show up in your current love life situation? If you can, journal on the question to see what is coming up for you. But I have a little surprise. There's more keeping you in your comfort zone. There's low self-esteem. You may doubt your worthiness of love, leading you to avoid putting yourself out there. You might feel that you don't deserve love or that you will ultimately be rejected, which is circling back into the fear of rejection. Also, I could have mentioned this earlier now that I think about it, but it aligns both with the fear of rejection and low self-esteem, and that's the fear of judgment. You might have a concern about being judged for your appearance, your personality, maybe your past, and that can keep you from taking the necessary steps to find love. Next, the influences of our social circles. And, honestly, this can overlap with the fears as well, because you might have a fear of judgment or even a fear of rejection from family for not being married by a certain age or not even having kids by a certain age. You may face similar fears when trying to find love that is completely different than how others in your family have met. All of this can keep you from moving outside your comfort zone. And just to go a little further into this one, we are wired for connection and belonging. It is part of our primal brain, and it's part of the basics of survival. Know that if you're facing issues with family in regards to your love life, it is normal, and it can be another layer to work through in order to find the love that you're looking for. Okay, you might also have misconceptions about love. You might have unrealistic expectations or idealized fantasy about love and relationships that make your dream love life unrealistic and unattainable. Of course, there's people out there who also misunderstand what love is and will confuse love with comfort, believing that they already have what they need in their current situation. There's also unresolved emotional issues. So if you haven't done your inner work, and to be honest, we're never really done, but if you haven't done the work to learn from your past relationships and emotional issues, you can keep yourself stuck in your comfort zone, which makes you obviously feel safe there. And here's what that's really doing for you. You're using your comfort zone as a protective mechanism to keep you from further emotional discomfort and all the fears that I mentioned earlier. Last but not least is the lack of resources, which is something I address in my Man of Your Spreadsheet Dreams course. If you've been dating for months or even years on end, or, trying to resolve an issue in your relationship for months or even years, your resources will be depleted. As a human being, you have limited resources. We all do. After multiple attempts and failures, you may experience, dating fatigue or burnout, which leads you to retreat into your comfort zone. If you're in a relationship and feel the same sort of fatigue or burnout with a specific topic or issue with your partner, you can stay in your comfort zone because you don't even want to address what's going to come next. Sometimes this looks like staying in the relationship for the kids or no longer bringing up an issue because it will never be resolved, so you distance yourself from your partner. Overall, when you deplete your resources, you no longer have the energy to pursue love or reconnect with your partner. Emotionally, you do not have the bandwidth to handle the ups and downs of seeking or creating a healthy relationship. Even though these are legit issues and ways you may be keeping yourself from taking that next step in your love life, whether it's dating or in a committed relationship, know that moving forward outside of your comfort zone is extremely important and beneficial to you and your love life. By now, you can recognize where you're holding yourself back from where you want to be. And to be honest, there's no shortcut. If you skip the process, you lengthen the process. And by saying that you will do something and yet not taking action to follow through, you're filling your life with words. Recently, during a podcast I was listening to, this woman said something pretty profound, and it hit me at my core. Empty words are just a cost to your soul. When you think about what I just shared with you today and pair it with her quote, ask yourself, what are your words costing you? What are your current behaviors costing you? What are you doing within your comfort zone that is keeping you from taking the next small step forward to finding love? Think and feel through those questions. The answers you have may surprise you. All right, lady, that is enough for today. If you want to stay up to date on all the things in my arena, subscribe to my newsletter. There is so much coming up in the next 3 months that I have yet to put it on my website, let alone share it on Instagram. The ladies on my newsletter are always the first to know events, services, and even what's coming up on the podcast. You can find the link to join in the show notes. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I will chat again with you soon. Thank you for joining me on the Reinventing the Arena podcast. I'm your host, Molly Conley, a relationship coach devoted to helping women reinvent their love lives. Tap the subscribe button so you never miss out on an episode. You can always find me on Instagram at Reinventing the Arena or learn more from me on my website at reinventingthearena.com.